Conservatism, you could say, would be George Washington, very traditionalist, but Americana. And then you've got super extreme, wild freedom with Jefferson, who was the head of the Illuminati for a while, helped launch the French Revolution, barely got out of France. They wanted to kill him. He said, whoa, Washington's right. This is really bad. This next piece of news is very, very important. Joe Rogan had the Evergreen University from Washington guest on, the professor, Brett Weinstein, who's a liberal, who's an SJW, who I would call ultra-leftist. But he's the old left that at least agrees in free speech and an open discourse of ideas. Now, the college has been closed for weeks. This has been going on for over a month. The minority students said, we want the campus closed to white people because they're the problem. We need to genocide white people. They're the devil. There's new articles out saying abort your white babies in mainstream feminist publications. Whites are inherently the source of all evil. This is Hitler's ideology, but inverted or flipped. And so Joe Rogan, who is, I'd call libertarian. I've known Joe like, hard to believe I'm this old now, 18, 19 years. And Joe is more of a mainline liberal, classic liberal from Boston. When I first met him, he just finished doing the show News Radio. We got to be pretty good friends. And he's a smart guy. He's taught me a lot, but I want to explain something to Joe and to the professor. I watched the over hour-long interview on his podcast. It's excellent. But they keep wondering why the left is eating itself, why it's turning on itself, why it's blowing up, why it's so cancerous, why it's so hateful, why it's so racist, why it's so cult-like. Because the psychological warfare systems on record set this up as standardized academia. It's a war on culture. It's a war on ideas. It's a war on classical liberalism that the robber barons don't know what to do with. And so they've been funding this for 100 years, getting control of the liberal movements that actually threaten the establishment. You know, Thomas Jefferson liberalism. Conservatism, you could say, would be George Washington, very traditionalist, but Americana. And then you've got super extreme, wild freedom with Jefferson, who was the head of the Illuminati for a while, helped launch the French Revolution, barely got out of France. They wanted to kill him. He said, whoa, Washington's right. This is really bad. So that's a lot, big, complex, long history there. And you're going, the Illuminati? Jefferson was good? He's the real Illuminati, folks, not the fake Illuminati. It's all in Washington's writings if you want to read it. Somebody's got to make a movie or write a book about this because this is all in the history books, but no one even knows it. It just means illuminated. It's like if, the rock band Rush is talking about illumination, wide-eyed fascination with the universe, not wanting to be a jerk, not wanting to be evil, wanting to share knowledge, be illuminated. The globalists are the opposite. In the kingdom of the one-eyed man, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Well, this is the kingdom of the one-eyed man. They want the only knowledge, the only light. You don't get it. That's the false Illuminati. They call themselves the Illuminati. It was just the Enlightenment. It just means the Enlightenment, and it came out of Christianity. It came out of the Reformation. It came out of a lot of things. It came out of the Black Plague that killed about 40% of the population, mainly in the cities, wiped out the elites, wiped out the feudalism that had top-down control. So there's a lot of things that gave us the Renaissance and the Gutenberg press and everything of 500 years ago. And there's been a fight between the forces of control and the forces of enlightenment since then. And the forces of control launched their own counter-enlightenment that was the extreme Illuminati based on sex operations, devil worship, really what they saw as cutting-edge stuff they could get the royalty and the general elites into because it wasn't kosher to go have sex orgies and do stuff like that. So it was kind of like, oh, really? You're going to have an enlightenment over in America? And you're going to have a Christian enlightenment? We're going to have one with hot chicks. And, devil parties. And so that's all it was a financed attempt to take down our real operation. Now, continuing, I say our real operation because my family on both sides, all over the place, right back to the start of it. I'm very, very, very proud of that. Now, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, they're wondering why all this is happening. They're wondering why it's all going on. Well, the professor knows. He knows this is standard doctrine and standard dogma being given to the colleges, being pushed in the publications, being prepared for the public. So when we come back, I'm going to play part of this little 7-minute clip. that is up on Infowars.com. Joe Rogan rant, left turning on itself. You want to see the full thing on YouTube, the full clip, and then there's a larger multi-hour interview. I would like to get the professor on here, but they're acting like that this university, Evergreen College, is some anomaly. They're shutting down colleges all over the country. Enrollment at some of these things is 30, 40% down because the anti-white racism is so bad, whites are literally being run off by groups of white professors saying, get me some muscle over here. Get these whites out of here. They're not allowed to be here. And people are like laughing going, I'm Asian, but that's wrong. I mean, it is just, it's beyond KKK. And it is mental illness in the people themselves that are under the control. But above it, there's a total plan. This is systematic authoritarianism. And George Carlin, before he died, laid it all out as well.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.